Welcome everyone. How's it going? It is what is it today? Jeez, it is Tuesday. It was a long weekend for us. It's Tuesday, May 25th. Welcome to not Power Hour today, but welcome to Stock Watch. So we're going to be doing the same thing, except it's not called Power Hour, so don't mind that too much. Technically, you can say anytime we're on live, it's Power Hour. Let me know in the chat if audio is coming in clear and everything else. Let me just make sure I got it all pulled up here. Thanks, Tyler. Appreciate it. Alrighty. So interesting day today. Really, by interesting, I mean quite boring, right? We're sitting flat on the day on Tesla, down about 47 basis points. The number to watch really is a 605 break. In my opinion, I think if we can get past 605 here, let me see if I can draw a line. If we can get past 605 right over here and break past, I think there's a decent chance that we run. Obviously go green because we're not that far away from going green here. But just making sure, I mean, here's the problem, right? Volume is really good today. And I say that's a problem because, you know, ideally it would have liked it to have volume really high on a day that we're skyrocketing. But that doesn't seem to be the case today. The Qs are up 5 basis points. Are really just flat, if you want to even call it up for the day. So they're kind of sitting flat on the day. Let me see if I can pull up high. The high of day is 334 on the Qs. So right around open is high. Same with Tesla, I believe. Tesla opened at 613.99 or 607.31, and the high of day was 614 pretty much. I just messed up my charts. Pardon me. One sec here. Let's get this going. What's up, Juju fam? How's it going? I do have the Juju today, but I gotta say today's right now is prioritizing coffee time. First coffee of the day. RX Alex says, I was genuinely surprised when they were able to push back down to retest 595. I was impatient with my options purchase. Yeah, if you look at the options, and this is what I said yesterday, was there, I forget if I said this on YouTube or if I said this on Discord. But I said they're probably going to gap up the stock tomorrow, but whether or not we sell off is a different story. And that's pretty much kind of what happened, right? In the morning, and this is the 1 minute chart, so I probably don't want to spend my time scrolling all the way back. But if I do 5 minutes, you'll see in the morning, it was as close to gapping and go as kind of we really would have seen, right? In the first 10 or 15 minutes when they skyrocketed up to 614, and then they sold the crap out of it in the minutes preceding. One tip is be careful buying options, and I should almost go as far to say, for me, I don't like to buy options in the morning unless I'm planning to flip them really quick. The problem is you'll buy these options or these calls right in the morning, and what'll happen is you'll buy that call, and let me know if this has happened with you guys. You'll buy that call and the stock will be pretty much the same price an hour or two later, and your call's down. And the reason for that is that morning spike of everyone buying calls or buying puts in the morning really inflates the price of what you're paying for, quite honestly. Kind of early. Yeah, early today, Anish, Jan, everyone's saying I'm early. Yes, I'm kind of early. I don't have time to do Power Hour today, but I wanted to go up and I wanted to go live regardless. So yeah, you're right. I am early. It's not Power Hour today. It's Stock Watch. Probably go for 45 an hour here, so stay tuned. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just didn't have time for Power Hour today. Appreciate you joining in though. Welcome from South Africa. Nice, very nice, very nice. So yeah, okay. So yeah, so 605 is really the break that we're looking for. Alex says he's guilty, trying to flip daily. Yeah, if you had bought in, I mean, I guess in the first minute and flipped in 5 minutes later, you would have made some money on some calls, but it's tough, especially with implied volatility being so high. You know, a good strategy might be often is to just sell calls or sell call spreads in the first 10 or 15 minutes. But even that's a little bit, you know, deflated is the best way to probably to put it at the moment. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Thanks for subscribing. So Hopefully the subscriptions are not that annoying. So it looks like looking at the 1 minute, it does look like it looks like we're kind of making higher highs and higher lows, I guess you could say. But I don't read into the 1 minute graphs as much in terms of technicals or major signals. It kind of give us an idea. The 605 I'm still holding by. Sam says hoping we close above 605. Yeah, that'll be good. A close above 605 would be good. Square is killing it today. Square is up 3% on the day on some news last night. That's why yesterday on the live stream, not sure if you guys remember, I went on Square and it was skyrocketing. News came out on Square that they're opening up checking and savings accounts, which makes sense. They applied to be a bank last, a month and a half, 2 months ago now. So totally makes sense. Good on them. I like Square, but on further deliberation, I might be looking into, instead of putting money into Square, into IPOE, which is SOFI. Shout out to Tyler. And SOFI is up 2.5% today. I think longer term play might be something a little bit more disruptive in the space, and I have to do more research on SOFI. But at a $2 billion market cap, this could easily 5x just from nothing, and turn from 20 to $100. So it's something I want to look at. Alex says, help me with Greeks, please. So is that IV increasing with a run happening and then you get theta decay, even though you get back to the same price you bought it at? Yeah, so kind of what happens is, so implied volatility, right? Implied volatility is kind of a black box of, is it Black Scholes? Is it this model? No one really knows. But the way I look at implied volatility is this: the more people buying and selling calls and puts increases implied volatility. So if you take a look at implied volatility right before earnings, you can probably assume implied volatility is going to be quite high comparatively in and of itself to the past weeks. Now, the reason for that is everyone and their mom before earnings is either hedging or YOLOing or buying a position into a stock. So when more people buy and sell, when more people buy calls and puts, that increases implied volatility. So by increasing implied volatility, you basically, when you buy that call, you're buying something that has, if you want to take a look, if you want to extrapolate out the extrinsic value of your option and you want to blow it up like a balloon, that's in essence what you're buying. You're buying an inflated extrinsic value option. Now in the morning, a microcosm, a micro version of this happens, right? In the morning, and oftentimes the best time to dump your calls that you're holding is in the first 15 minutes, is everyone, if you take a microcosm of the day, the majority of the volume, other than power hour, even power hour is often quiet, actually, ironically enough. My dad says this a lot. He says the best traders and the best not investors really, but the best traders, options traders, make their money in the first half an hour of the day, and then they leave, which is so true. Some of the best options traders you can follow, you'll notice they'll be done trading within the first hour. And what that says is the majority of the volume for a lot of options, whether they're market orders left overnight to be filled at open, whether they're people that are being margin called, whether they're people waking up that need to exit positions right at open, a lot of option volume happens in the morning. And if that is true, then you can assume implied volatility is also inflated on that, right? So it makes a premium higher. Not at the level where you're going to see it reflected in the 52 IV rank or the 26 IV rank and the 13 IV rank. And this is what I see personally. You're not really going to read this anywhere. You're not going to see this anywhere. You're going to hear it talked about with options traders. But it's just one of those things where everyone knows the best fill. And sometimes I'll give you an example. Netflix had amazing earnings. I think it was last quarter or the quarter before. My dad had calls and I was following which calls he had. And I'll make up numbers just to make it a little bit more easier. Let's say Netflix was up 5% in the morning. It dipped throughout the rest of the day, and the last 2 hours of the day went up 6% on the day, right? At that time when it was up 6%, his calls were worth 20% less than at open when they were up 5%, right? And Tyler's saying IV can be terrifying. IV can be terrifying, but if you're selling call spreads, right? If you're selling call spreads, if you're selling premium, then IV is pretty much what you want, right? You want to be short theta, and that's kind of what the strategy has been for the last little bit. Is and that's why when you look at when you look at these options and you look at how low IV is, you go, does that just imply that market makers don't have a move pulled into here, right? That's kind of the way I look at it. So Tesla retesting 600s here. So you can see right over here, 604.50 never even got close to 605. So that's kind of the best and worst, the best friend and the worst enemy. Absolutely, you just have to get on the right side of it. Anish saying Shanghai production halt temporarily. Is that true? Hold on. Did I miss it? Was it a tweet today? Hold on. Distrust of Tesla grows in China as state bans EVs from government areas, report says. Okay, interesting. Someone have a source on that? Well, I'll just go on Sawyer's. Twitter. Let me see here. So refresh Model S is spotted, ready to launch into car carriers. And yeah, June 3rd is the event. I got the date wrong yesterday. June 3rd is the event. June 3rd. Cybertruck is killing it. Yes, we know that. Cybertruck has over 1 million reservations. Now here's the thing. Okay, let's talk about Cybertruck for a hot second, right? Cybertruck has 1 million reservations, but don't think for a second, in my opinion, that even 50% of those people are going to convert. Think about how many people just anecdotally, and I know a lot, and I think not, you guys can call yourselves out if you have Cybertruck reservations that you don't plan on going. It's kind of like a free options contract, right? You're buying $100 worth of a refundable deposit. You're locking in FSD at this extraordinarily low rate that it's going to be worth more later, that you're potentially looking at maybe getting, but you might have 2 or 3 of them. I know a lot of people on Twitter have 5 or 6 of them for a fleet that they might be going at. So at 1 million reservations, in my opinion, I think how many go through with it is probably 25%. Happy to be wrong on that, but I think 25% is probably a better number to look at in terms of how many people actually close. When we talk about real estate, right? In real estate, what we're taught is if there's no deposit, there's no firm deal, right? Anyone can say anything, but if there's no non-refundable deposit that cannot be returned to you, you talk about firm deals. That's not a firm deal. But I know for a fact there's a ton of you guys. M. Kelsey saying one try mode or reservation here. Cheapest call option on the market. Absolutely. There's going to be people that are going to reserve it. But here's the thing: even at 250,000, let's get this straight. That is an extraordinary amount of Cybertrucks. Tesla is going to be busy for a long time. By the time those even come out, more people are going to flood in to buy. So demand is not the issue here. I'm just saying, don't look at the reservation numbers too much in terms of like, wow, that's 1 million people ready to buy right now. Just consider it a gauge of demand. And if you're doing that, that's fine. If you're starting to put it into your cash flows of 1 million Cybertrucks, because the problem is also production, right? The tri-motor Cybertruck kind of excites me, right? I don't think we've ever seen a tri-motor or anything. And at what, 70K? Was it 70K for a tri-motor plus rebates? You're kind of looking at the same price as a Model 3 Performance for a tri-motor. That's nuts. Yes, you could see on the drone images that there's no activity for some time, pumping out cars again. Michael says he has the Cybertruck res. I'm buying the Cybertruck for sure. Guys, I would love to... if I could convince my girlfriend to ditch the Model 3 and get a Cybertruck, we would. But again, living in Canada is like, sometimes it's like, you can't plan on things coming to you very fast, right? Look at the vaccine. Like, we're finally getting a lot of the vaccine here. The Cybertruck's probably going to come here. The Cybertruck's probably going to come here in 2020, end of 2023 at this rate. Like, there's so much demand in the States. that it probably doesn't make sense for Tesla to ship out a lot of Cybertrucks to begin with. Michael says, I placed my Cybertruck res on day 1 and I'm 144,000. Wow. Jesus Christ. Ye says, I think it's more like 400K real buys. Even that would be a lot. And yeah. Look at Adil says, look at Gary Black's last tweet. He says 25%. Oh, okay, nice. So, well, Adil, are you saying that I'm agreeing with Gary Black? How dare you? No, I'm just kidding. I use Gary Black's tweets and his models all the time. I think, and I didn't read that tweet yet. I should read it right after this. But yeah, I think 25% is about safe to assume. Jim says, I have 5 Cybertruck orders. The ones that cancel if fleets don't pan out will be replaced by the outside Tesla bubble when they see the truck hit the streets. Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm saying. Exactly. Smash the like, people. Yeah, appreciate that, Alex. If you could hit the like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, or don't, I don't care. But do what you want. Much love for everyone, all the new subscribers over the last couple of days. Thanks for coming in. Lib off. Never. No, I can't. She's my ride or die. Drive to the US, get shots. I have a vaccine appointment on the 4th of June. So, Ye says, how is Canada, by the way? I'm thinking about switching sides. How is Canada? I mean, I'm from here, so I'm biased. And quite honestly, it's not like I've lived anywhere else outside of a couple of months of my life other than Canada. So I'd say it's pretty good, but it's going to be the lifestyle. It's going to be the lifestyle change for you, maybe. Tri Motors will be the only model produced in the first couple of years, in my opinion, says Michael. That's not a bad guess, Michael, because the Cybertruck, it's kind of like when the Y came out, right? They only produced the higher end, higher ASP models to begin with. That can make sense. Melio, yeah, lol, I can guarantee you a Pfizer if you drive to the US. Oh, absolutely. There's so many vaccines down south. It's okay. I'll be fine. I mean, also I freaking had Corona. You guys know that, right? I was down for like 2 weeks on this channel. You guys were like, where the hell did you actually go? So, I mean, like, there's probably some antibodies in me, right? Nick Central, live in Quebec. Yeah, BC is really nice. Yeah. You don't need the vax, you need the juju. I got the juju. It's more of a sentimental piece today, I gotta say. I'm having a cup of coffee with you guys. Get a cup of coffee. By the way, I got this cup. Hold on, let me pull up my camera so I can actually see what I'm showing you guys. I got this cup, and when I got it, this reminded me of the Tesla Hedgehog when I ordered the car. Flow Algo, yeah, we'll go through Flow Algo in a second here. How is the real estate market up there? The real estate market is hot. It's hot. Anyone's looking to buy and sell real estate in Vancouver, BC? Give me a holler. Okay, let's go through Flow Algo. I do have Chrome pulled up here, so let's take a look. I gotta say, it's kind of boring today, so let's take a look. Flow Algo. So, oh, we just got a new one here. Okay, we just got a new sweep for Tesla. 1,500 strike calls for 1.7 mil. That's quite huge, and this would be a lot more aggressive if these weren't leaps for January 2023. That makes me feel a lot better about my really far out the money leaps that I have for 2023. Mind you, they're March. But someone just bought $1.7 million worth of 1,500 strike January 2023 calls. And they swept them. Pretty bullish. The same person also bought, it looks like, about $900,000 worth of more of those. So they're in it for about 2.5 million. The most aggressive call sweep we got today was about 8 a.m. in the morning Pacific. A 650 call sweep, $50 out of the money for June 11th. About $1 million worth of call sweeps right there. This is looking good. I mean, this is looking bullish. Someone's looking bullish on this stuff right now at the moment. So, this was quite aggressive too. 650 call sweeps for June. Nothing majorly aggressive, right? Like when we talk majorly aggressive, I'm looking for stuff that is, expiring end of week this week, and it's super far out the money, and it's heavy money coming in. That's what I'm talking about when I say super aggressive. So you guys should check out Gary Black's tweets. All right, let's do it. Gary. Okay, some treasury news. Gary says this is setting up to a bigger beat than Model Y in 2020. That I agree with. If 1 million pre-orders turn into 250K actual orders with zero likely cannibalization of other, that's the key, right? This model doesn't cannibalize any other models. I talked about this when the Model Y was coming out. Was how many Model 3s are going to be cannibalized? It's worth 2.2 incremental on Tesla earnings. That's why I'm about 960 for fiscal year 2022, and the street's at 650. Quite candidly, Gary says, 1 million pre-orders could turn into 1 million actual orders once Cybertruck popping up in neighborhoods. That's what I've been saying for the longest time. I've been saying when the Cybertruck hits the road and it's a wild car out there, people are going to be turning heads left, right, and center. I've been saying this for a while. Like this video that I found. Let me try to find it. I said, say what you want now, but when this is in mass production, the world will notice. Like, we're Tesla fans, right? We're going to be staring at these cars as they first come out. Non-Tesla fans are going to be like, wait, that's the Tesla car? I didn't even know. I forgot about that. Was that the car that the glass broke at the mod? Like, these are the stuff like average, normal people that don't care about the stock market or Tesla don't realize is when they see this car in the wild, they're going to be turning their heads. So absolutely. And follow me on Twitter at HeyIt'sYashu. By the way, join us in our stock chat room. I realized I am sorry for the last 2 weeks. I've been missing messages about the links being broken. I fixed the links. Patreon.com/hitthatbid. Thanks for subscribing. There's a couple spots left. I think about 10 spots left on our lowest tier Patreon membership if you want to do it. Charles says, are you quoting premium paid or notional value? Can't read the screen. This is premium paid. So someone is paying $1,700,000, $800,000 for those. It looks like something Emmett would do. Let's figure out if Emmett is doing that. Let's see here. Twitter can be, no, this is a pinned tweet. That's an ad. I think Emmett's kind of changed his, he doesn't go far out into talking about his positions anymore, which I think is smart, right? As someone that is, why does it say hit that bid subscribed? Guys, you guys are funny. Someone did that. I mean, I'm probably going to subscribe to myself, but I don't think it's legal. Yeah, I think he kind of switched into taking, like before, I think Emmett was really, or he's still awesome, but I think it was really awesome to hear what positions he was having before. But I think he's shifted away from that because I can understand the blowback that you'd get from this. Breaking, says Sawyer, all Model 3s and Ys built for North America and delivered in the month of May and beyond will not be equipped with radar. Okay, refreshed S and X will still have radar for now, but they will transition those vehicles to a vision-only based system. Cheek and Code, welcome. Some features, such as Smart Summon, will not be available right away. With software updates, they'll be reinstated in the coming weeks. Some lane departure warnings will also be gone for that time being. No refunds or discounts of FSD as these features will be returning. Okay, there'll be a page on Tesla account for those who want this new feature to accept the changes, no cost, or what it looks like. Introducing Tesla Vision, transitioning to Tesla Vision. We're continuing to transition Tesla Vision, our camera-based autopilot system. You know what's funny is when I was riding my Model 3 the other day, that's not a subtle flex. I just hate saying that. I'm sorry. But I had my hand out of the window, and there's a car right there. There's a camera right there. And my fingers were actually triggering, we're triggering autopilot screen to show a person crawling or a person walking on the side of the car. It was hilarious. It was like, I should actually record this. For a short period. So auto steer will be limited to a maximum speed of 75 miles per hour. Man, that is fast. Like, you guys should come to Canada. Like, our speed limits on the streets are 50 kilometers per hour. You guys want to know what that is? That is, our street limits are 30 miles per hour. on the street, not on the highways, obviously. Smart summon, if equipped, and emergency lane departure avoidance may be disabled at delivery. In the weeks ahead, we're restoring to whatever. Okay. So I guess we have radar on ours as well. Interesting. So tell me in the comments. You guys obviously know more than I do. Is this just a cost lowering system where, you know, when Elon talks about getting rid of the steering wheel, it's, you know, it's just an unnecessary part type of thing? Is this because it's unnecessary / it lowers costs, or is there an inbuilt cost outside of monetary to radar that sacrifices other parts of the system? Emmett started a fund. Yes, he did. Griffin, congrats on your interview with said company. I'm not going to call it out for you unless you want to. But super happy for you, man. Super happy. Jason says, sheesh. Okay. Lakshay, please, guys, support this channel. The guy is doing some awesome work there. Please support them. I appreciate that. Thank you. He has talked about his own IRA trades, though. Yes, he does talk about that. Emmett said he's not really looking to do anything big calls, as he doesn't think there's will be another 10x anytime soon. Those can be pinned in the near future, something like that. Right. High conviction on vision. When the system disagree, the neural net, Griffin says, defaults to vision. So why even have the discrepancy is the point. Okay. Charles says it's cost and legal exposure. Could get sued for an accident, I'm guessing on radar, where activated radar could have prevented it. Oh, interesting. That's a interesting tidbit. Tesla needs to hold around 600 for this week. Yes, 605 is kind of what we're looking at for the day. Let me pull up Webull again. 605 is what we're looking at. James says, because radar is unnecessary. Vision and radar conflict. Vision should win. When they agree, they use vision anyways. Okay, so it's unnecessary. Griffin, you can drop the name. It's not that big. Griffin is going to be our boy working, or he's going to be our mole, if you want to call it, working in SpaceX. So hopefully you land that high-paying, high enjoyment job. That'll be awesome for you, because I know you like, obviously you like Tesla. That's why you're joining in here. So it'd be kind of the perfect fit. They could add forward only later. So yeah, so there's a lot of flows coming in, but quite honestly, so what we need, let me check volume for the day. What do we need? Average volume is 35. Today's volume is sitting at 23 million shares traded already, and we're half an hour away from last hour of trading. That's quite a lot, I gotta say. So that's pretty good. So we'll see kind of what happens moving forward. Let's see here. Hit that like. Yes, appreciate that. Now, I still got to figure out who's that person that changed their name to hit that bid and then hit subscribe. You're funny one. And yeah, when you hit subscribe, you only show up if you have your settings on to public. Otherwise, it's private subscriptions. So on the daily level, let's check out the daily level. Let's get rid of these pivot points here. Drawings, charts, pivot points. Okay. So at a daily level, if we take a look at this chart, really there's a lot of room on the upside, right? We got support, if you want to call it, around 595. We should have support there. We saw it today, actually. We have support on 595s. We got a lot of room on the upside to go. Likewise, like we had a lot of room on the downside to go when we were in between these moving averages. So at the moment, and the whole question is going to be, can macro hold up / do buyers actually feel comfortable buying in if they're finally not scared of chip shortages and all that sort of stuff? Thanks for subscribing. It looks like our first target should really be 645. Now, whether that happens over the course of a couple of days, whether it melts up, let's see, to be determined. Whether we consolidate here, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Implied volatility is still low. If we take a look at these options that we have pulled up here, you can buy January 2023 call. Let's see here. A 1500 strike or something. You can buy for 3.5 grand, almost 3 grand, really. You can buy a 1300 strike call for 4.5 grand. Guys, these were so expensive for such a long time. Thank you. These were so expensive for such a long time. If I take a look at this one, this 1275 strike call, which is sitting at $4,700 right now. Quite literally, in February, beginning of February, end of January, when Tesla hit all-time highs, these were trading for $28,000 per contract. Now, mind you, there's a couple of things confounded in that. Number one, implied volatility was astronomically high. So, mind you, there's that. And then obviously Tesla was sitting at $900. Leverage was at an all-time high. Since then, what has happened is the ultimate deleveraging. Big money has come off the table. Implied volatility has shrunk across the board. There's big money just took money off the table either to pay taxes, to get ahead of any of the supply chain issues. The supply chain issues is really what's triggering a lot of this short-term inflation that we're having right now, right? If you look at it across the board, in my opinion, and I'll pull up Tesla again so we can see that. In my opinion, if you look at inflation, if you look at everything that's happening, this is not Tesla, it's supply chain oriented. It's mostly supply chain oriented. The reason why everything is so goddamn expensive is because there's so many issues in the supply chain at the moment. Griffin says, thanks y'all. Griffin says, they also said that the neural net has adapted to expect cars that they would be able to see with radar and plan accordingly without knowing if the car is there or not. Michael says, there's much more to the vision capability beyond our visible light spectrum. Hey Waka, how's it going? Waka says, yeah, 640 is my target. Should have been there today, but really no movement. Remember, this is no longer the young buck Tesla. This is the not the middle aged, because I don't think Tesla's middle aged yet, right? I think this is the maybe upper 20s Tesla, where it's finally experiencing fatigue. It's getting hangovers for the first time. Doesn't really know why. He's trying to figure out why his body's sore after going for little exercises. Never used to be like this. This is like the late 20s, early 30s Tesla, right? So the old Tesla, the Tesla of, literally 6 months ago, yes, that was pre-S&P inclusion. It was a young buck. It was the Usain Bolt in its prime. It could go from 600 to 640 within a snap. But this Tesla is going to need everything on its side, especially macro, right? The Qs, you can see the Qs are flat on the day. SPY, I don't have it here for some reason. The SPY, I think, is flat on the day as well. Let me edit it to add it in. So, we got some work to do. Just like me. Yeah, absolutely. So let's see here. SPY is 20 basis points down on the day. It's pretty much flat, you want to call it. So it's going to take some time. Is this what late 20s is like? I'm not excited. Early 30s. How about that? I don't know. Michael says, great point, Yashu. Tesla post S&P is a different animal. And it's not, I'm not saying it's a worse animal, right? Getting older is not the problem. The problem is you have to adjust to what reality is like as you get older, right? You have to come to acceptance to it. So when you trade like it's a 16-year-old person stock, right? Does that make sense, right? Like it's 16 years old, which, by the way, I think Tesla is 16 years old. You're going to be in for failure. You have to trade this like the way Tesla is going to go up now is it's going to go up massively one day, 7%. Then it's going to consolidate for a couple of days. Then it'll go up again. The old Tesla would go up 3% every single day consistently, 5% some days, 7% some days, and consistently, right? What was that time period when we hit all-time highs for 8 days in a row or something, right? So trust me, we're gonna get there eventually, but it's gonna take. It's not on a walker, okay? It's not on a walker. No, it's not on a wheelchair. Right, it's getting used to what it needs to adjust to. Okay, it's the best way I can put it. And And money hasn't gone anywhere. There's a lot of money sitting on the sidelines. Reopening plays have gotten a lot of money, absolutely. But I've talked about this second half of this year when everything's reopened. People are gonna wait. People are gonna go. Wait, why do I have all my money sunk into all these boomer stuff? What's the point? I need growth. I need growth. I need growth. Money's gonna come back into this stuff. Brianna says, are all the states reopening this June 15th? I don't know. You'd have to ask someone from the states here. I'll tell you what, Canada's probably opening by July something at this rate. So it's going to be a hot second for us. Tesla got married and now has kids. Wife is beating him down. I don't know if he has kids yet, but he's thinking about it. He's thinking about it, right? He's definitely trying, okay? He's definitely trying. He's definitely trying, right? SpaceX, Starlink, Neuralink, you know, these are all his kids, right? But he's trying. He's trying to have kids. Just like me. Hit that like. Appreciate that, Extreme Delta. Much love. 12 days in a row about last November. Thanks, John Daly. Yes, I thought it was over 10, but I didn't want to over-exaggerate it. Griffin says, just take this opportunity dollar cost average in. These prices are great long-term. Short positions are super low in Tesla. Well, we should be getting a short update within the next 2 weeks from the NASDAQ on May 31st, short shares. So we'll see how that goes then. 2020 was a rocket ship post S&P. It's a ladder. Good analogy. Oh my God. So yeah, so watch 605, watch 605. We're probably going to hit a little bit of resistance and consolidate here, in my opinion. So we're going to have to, you know, see where this goes. In terms of, let's pull up Twitter, anything new here that we can check out. Is GME blowing up again? What's happening with GME? Let's pull up GME. Man, I hate GME. Whenever GME is skyrocketing, the whole market goes into the shitter. Not GM, that's a different kind of shitter. GME is up 20%, 16% on the day. Jesus Christ. Check this out, folks. We went from 190 to 220 within the last, what is this? Hour? Last hour. So something's happening again. Remember, whenever this stuff happens, AMC, let's see how AMC is skyrocketing as well, up 12%. Whenever this happens, the market goes kaputzi. It's just the way it goes. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on how this brings the rest of the market down, because it definitely does. It gets a lot of panties in the wad on Wall Street. It does. It's sad. So let's see what happens. Do you ever draw channels on your charts ever? No, Alex, I don't really, to be honest. My philosophy on technical analysis is quite simple. I use moving averages as kind of the fundamental supply and demand resources, as if you want to call them support and resistances. Moving averages tell a lot of tales. Also, I know a lot of algos and high frequency trading and funds and money managers use moving averages. So I use that. I don't really draw a lot of wedges, and I know a lot of other people do. It's just not my cup of tea. It's not something that I take much consideration into. I think wedges, I think drawing lines, triangles, that stuff works more for lower market cap companies. Stuff where retail demand in a stock is more meaningful. Well, when you have a $600 billion market cap company or an Apple or an Amazon, majority of it is not retail driven, right? And if we can presume that mostly all of these technical analysis tools like drawing stuff is retail oriented, we can assume, or we can deduce perhaps, that doing those strategies has a lower conviction rate than sticking with the basic ordinary calculations. So that's just my fundamental philosophy. And you guys know, shout out to you if you've been on the channel for a long time. You know, I talk about technical analysis as, it is what it is. It's 30 or 40% of the stock price movement. The rest of it is going to be news driven, right? News trumps all. If any news comes out, the market doesn't care about my support and resistance, right? Or it definitely factors in perhaps, and that's why I use moving averages for where there's a lot of supply of shares and where there's a lot of demand of shares. But the market really doesn't care about MACD if Tesla comes out and Elon says, hey, we're shipping Cybertrucks starting next quarter, right? So there's a fine balance there, right? That's what I'm trying to do. Yashu, does the 1 year chart matter at all? In 2 to 3 months, the 52-week low will have gone from under 85 to over 340. Perhaps a little bit. Perhaps a little bit, Quack. Thanks for the question. It's definitely something to look at. Because yeah, you're right. Tesla skyrocketed in those months, right? So something to look at, but hopefully that, if anything, that brings the base higher. That brings the base of Tesla stock higher. Yashu, Sergey's asking, what's your second favorite stock? Yes, you did. You spelled it right. Well, funny you say that. You guys are saying, for a long time, you guys know Square was my second biggest conviction stock. I've liquidated out of that position. I'm sitting on my hands on that, but Square was probably my second favorite stock for a while. I like Square. I think it's awesome. I talked about it yesterday. I think Square's doing a lot of awesome things. Yeah. So, what's my second favorite stock at the moment? I would say, is it a cop out if I say crypto is my second favorite, right? And specifically Cardano, ADA is my second favorite at the moment. Is that kind of a cop out? Maybe it is, but I would probably say that. Yeah. Hopefully that answers. I mean, that's the thing. I'm kind of indifferent on a lot of names. I know a lot of names. I might have convictions based on other names, but if you talk about favorites and, like, babying stuff, stuff that, even if it falls, I'm gonna go there, right? It's probably Tesla. And then after that, I try to be the rational, cool-headed investor where I don't fall in love with something. But it's hard not to with a stock like Tesla, fall in love with the product. And that's why the conviction level on Tesla for me is so high, is independent of everything that we know. Battery tech, forward-leading industry on auto, on full self-driving and robo-taxis. Independent of all of that, the product speaks for itself. The reason I turned from a Tesla bear a while ago into a raging Tesla bull was because my dad, he made me drive the Model 3 on a test drive. Changed everything. I talked about this on the channel on one of our live streams or before earnings call, one of our mega live streams that we've done. I wasn't invested in Tesla. I thought Tesla didn't have enough cash on hand for the longest time. I thought, it's a going concern. My dad's like, hey, drive the car. We went because my dad wanted to get a Model 3. We drove the Model 3. He made me come with him. Changed everything. I started looking more into it. I started actually deep diving past the FUD. I started actually seeing that cash on hand was growing, cash flows were growing, margins were growing, battery tech was industry leading. There's just so many angles that I've come to grips with Tesla on, that when I look at Tesla bears, I can't say I understand them fully, but I get where they're at because they've dug their heels into somewhere. And one of the things I like to live by, if I can, and I'm not perfect at it, is if I have a conviction on something, pro or con, I try not digging my heels in. Where if I can pivot, right? In business, the biggest lesson I've learned is being able to pivot on anything, on an opinion, on a decision, fast is the biggest differentiator, in my opinion, between successful and unsuccessful entrepreneurs, right? So when I pivoted on Tesla, I went in hard, and that was pre-Corona last year. So since then it's come to fruition. Tesla's gone profitable for so many quarters in a row. S&P inclusions happened before our eyes. The Tesla community, Tesla skyrocketing on my sentimental story. We're up to 603. The gods are listening, So, but that being said, crypto was my first love of. Well, I mean, I've been options trading since 2011, end of 2010 on my dad's account when I was a minor, right? I remember even calling into the brokerage one time And I'm not going to tell you which brokerage because it was so bad. I was like 16, something wasn't working with my platform. I call in, pretending to be my dad on file. I'm like, trying to face this out. My dad comes in, he's like, oh, like what's happening? I'm like, oh, this thing's not working. The person on the phone's like, hey, who are you talking with? I'm like, oh, my dad's coming. He's like, he's like, your dad, hold on, how old are you? I'm like, oh, I'm 16. I'm like, oh, Jesus, I just told everyone. I just told this guy, and the guy's like, hey, give me the phone to that. He started ranting at me. He's like, never call in impersonating someone. My dad was chill about it. My dad didn't give a shit. He was like, yeah, whatever, no big deal. He's like, just add him to the account. So there it is. I'm gonna stop that spiel because it looks like we are skyrocketing now. M. Kelsey says, same evolution for me. Model 3 purchase in September 2019, Tesla bull sense. The product speaks for itself. The product speaks for itself. Michael says, have you checked out Chicken Genius? Chicken Genius, Ken is awesome. I really like his videos. One of the biggest things I like about Ken, other than his production quality on his videos, which I aspire to be as good as one day, is how his brevity, right? His videos are always 7 minutes or less, or 8 minutes or less. This idiot over here tries to make short videos and they end up being 15 minutes. So I respect how concise and to the point he can get. Mariana, any news on Giga Berlin opening dates? I don't know, but we'll crowdsource an answer for you on that. My guess is still July-ish, maybe August. But you know what? Austin is already producing single castings of the Model Y and sending them out to Fremont. If that doesn't show you how fast people are acting on this, is just nuts. This is nuts. Chances, how about a stock that goes up almost every week? Nyby Industrier AB, a Swedish company, is selling large-scale heating and energy-saving products. Interesting. Okay, I'll add that to my list. What platform is this? This is Webull. Check out Webull with my affiliate link. If you deposit $100, you get 2 free stocks. Yes, I did fix the links. Check out here. Let me just put this in. I'm gonna paste it in the chat just so easy access. I've been clicking on the links last night, and I started clicking on them, and all of them were giving me 404 errors. And I was like, what? So I fixed all the links. It should be good. Here are the links. Here's a Webull link. If you don't have a Webull account, deposit $100. You'll get up to $1,800 with a free stock. I told you guys, if you spin the wheel on Webull and you get Ford or GM or some other crap stock, I'm sorry. You get Tesla, you're welcome. I can't control that. Webull controls what you get. Deposit $100. And then also BlockFi. You can get up to $250 in Bitcoin with BlockFi using my link. So click on the links. At the very least, let me know if they work. Where's version 9 FSD? It's coming up. It's coming up, but your guess is as good as mine. You're a special idiot to me. Thanks, Alex. Father knows best. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, good question. Why trade something that's not moving like Tesla? Just jump on things that are moving, like GM, Coin, other convictions. Why day trade? Just buy and hold forever. So you kind of answered your own question. I am buying and holding, specifically in this case, Tesla. I do day trade. I just need my setup. It's hard for me to day trade without my setup, and when I'm live streaming, yesterday I did. But you're right. I'm not really a Momo trader because as a momentum trader, you need to stay up to date with all of the news on every single stock. And I get that. That's for some people. But you know, I'm not heavily for sticking on a lot of the news. Like this GME stuff, I would totally get on, but I'm not live streaming right now. But even then, we're up 20% on this. I don't know. Hopefully you get my point. But I have day traded GME. We have on Discord on the last bull run of GME. GME has been a good moneymaker for us. John Daly, if you were doing a call option for Tesla mid 2023, what price would you target? Well, it depends. Okay, if you're looking, but a general rule of thumb is if you're looking for a YOLO or high percentage play, or you're looking for a 5x, 10x, 15x with potential downside of 100% of what you're buying, you'd go further out the money, right? You'd go as far as you possibly can. Thanks for subscribing. You go as far as you possibly can, and you would buy what you possibly can, right? If you're looking to pseudo have shares, buy a higher delta, right? If you're looking to, in essence, in your portfolio have shares, then potentially consider getting a delta close to at the money. And at the money right now is sitting at 17.5 thousand. That'll buy you 50 deltas, or actually probably more than that. Let me just see if I can get rid of. Let me get rid of some of these numbers here. One sec. Let's do mid. Let's get rid of implied vol. Let's get rid of mid. So the delta on the at the monies there is 64, 65. So that means if Tesla goes up $1, that goes up 65 cents on that dollar. So in essence, you're buying leveraged shares, right? If you're buying really far out the money, like you're buying a 1700 strike call for 2023 January, you're buying 14 or 15 delta, right? If Tesla goes up by $1, this goes up by 15 cents on that dollar. But what you're betting on is this delta to also, it's the second derivative, right? Delta is the first derivative of the stock price or of the option. And the second derivative is that as Tesla stock price goes up, delta also goes up, right? So, and basically what you're hoping for is this 15 delta starts moving up to 20 delta. And now you've bought in a 15 delta for, $2.5 grand. Now you have not only an appreciated asset, but you also are buying more deltas. There's more room to the upside. When you're buying at the money at a 600 strike and you're buying 65 delta, even if Tesla stock goes up $100, your delta doesn't go up percentage wise that much, right? It goes up 10, which 10 delta on 64 is a 15% increase in delta, whereas a 1700 strike has a 15 delta, and if it goes up $100, you're sitting at, let's see here, or let's say even if Tesla, and here's the thing, Tesla doesn't have to go up a lot, it just has to go up in succession. So that's kind of what you're betting on. A long-winded answer to your question basically is, if you're looking to buy more pseudo shares with less theta decay, try to buy in the money or at the money. If you're looking for more of a higher risk, higher reward play, out of the monies are where you want to be. So it's also going to depend on your account size and your risk and reward. But maybe you don't want to buy, or you don't think buying something at the money at 17K is worth it. Diana Ryder, wow, I've been watching this for 10 minutes and just realized it's actually live. Well, welcome. What's up? What would you pick for something like share accumulation, something around in the money? Yeah, something around in the money is kind of what you'd want to look at if you want to, because if you think about it this way, if you bought a 200 or 300 or 400 strike deep in the money call, you would be basically buying shares, right? At that level, delta would be as close to 1. Stock price goes up by $1, you go up by $1, right? It'd be moving in sync with the stock price in the near term. It looks like Tesla's rising up here again, folks. 604. Shout out to 604 area code. But if you buy far out the money, right, that's when those have been historically my biggest gains on Tesla, and that's not a big deal. It's just it's because Tesla also 5x last year, right? So duh, that makes sense. But those leaps, for example, some of the leaps that I bought for 3,000 or 4,000 that turned into 20,000, that's because they were far out the money. So yeah, it's about return on capital as well. There's so many different aspects to this. It depends on your account and your position size and your risk. So yeah. Ivy could be your friend on far out the money leaps. That's another good point. Ivy is actually quite low at the moment. So let's take a look. Remember, 605 is kind of what we need to break. A 605 break and hold past, we probably go back to high day. Is my opinion. Alex says Tesla at the high Bollinger Band at the 1 minute and about to touch on the 3 and the 5. Any flows? I need to exit my poorly timed 640 strikes that were bought at this level. Any flows? Yeah, sure, I can check flows. 1 sec. Follow me on Twitter. Shout out to you, SK Hussein and Trader Lou. Cool. Join the family. Okay. Flows. doesn't look like there's anything new. I just hit refresh. Let's see. Nothing new on flows that are coming in at the moment. Nothing. The queues are really quiet. The market is just, it's just in terms of flows. On a day like today, in the old days, we would see massive amounts of volume or flows coming in. But really, we're not seeing much. This is SPY. So nothing much here. Nothing much here in terms of what to do. What did you get into your 640s at is the question. The 640s at the moment are for this week. Is it this week? 640s for this week are going for $1.40. Remember, my golden rule, you guys know it, is if you're buying call options that are expiring within the next couple weeks, those are YOLOs to me. Don't buy. But when you buy them, here's my account rule that I live by. You don't have to live by this. If I'm buying call options or put options for that matter that are expiring within the next 2 weeks, maybe even month, probably 2 weeks and less. When I buy as much as if I look at that number of what I'm buying and I go, okay, if all of this went to zero, am I okay with this? Because it's a complete lotto. 2 weeks and under are pretty much complete lottos. Welcome, Brad, on Twitter. They're complete lottos in my eyes. Because theta decay can eat you alive for an hour and then bounce back an hour later. It's hard to predict, right? So what that does, I'm not saying you're going to hold it to go to zero, but it keeps you honest, right? If you're buying 4K worth of lottos and you're like, there's no way in hell I am losing 4K in lottos this week or in the next 2 weeks, then you're probably going to buy, let's say, 1,000. But that'll keep you more honest on your positions, right? Buy less and chill is the motto that I love to hear. Buy less and just chill. If you buy too much, you start making emotional trades. That's the number one thing. Raise your oranges. Lib off. I got it. Nice. Yeah, today's, Harry says, looks like weekend retail investors taking profits. To a degree, I would agree with you because of the price action. But the problem is today, not the problem, but the curious thing is we're already at 24 million shares traded for the day. So if we're already at 24 million shares traded for the day, if we end around here, you could say profit taking, but it looks like the way we're going is 30 plus million on the day, which is significantly, it's the same amount pretty much that we had yesterday. Usually profit taking would signal on really low volume, right? Like 10, 15, 20 million shares traded at this time. The volume just isn't there today for much of a move. The volume is there, but it looks like the majority of the volume was in the morning. FSD beta 9 on June 3rd. That'd be good. Looks like Tesla is retesting the 600 level down here. Boom, you have 100K to play with. What do you do? If I have 100K to play with, not investment advice, what do I do? Probably buy far out the money Tesla leaps for as far as possible that I can for a big move towards the end of the year. With maybe, let's say, 30K of that 100K. Then, and this is going on the notion that this is a complete YOLO 100K, right? Like this is not capital preservation. Then probably buy some crypto with that. Probably buy 50K worth of Cardano, Bitcoin, not Ethereum at the moment. Too high still, for my opinion. And hang out and maybe have some remainder left for day trading. Probably what I do. Also, maybe look at something like SOFI, IPOE. Still only worth $2 billion in the market cap. Everything's looking good on their books. So something like that, maybe. Tyler says, everyone's best guess on FSD release. My bet is June 3rd. That's what everyone's saying. Alex says he paid $2.50 for a 640 call strike. $2.50. So they're at $1.50 at the moment. Let me see the delta on these. Again, none of this is financial advice. 14 delta on this. Since you've held it already this long, right? Since you've already held it this long, it might make sense for you to just wait to the end of the day, see what happens. Again, none of this is financial advice. Who knows where we go? On a daily level, today is a classic consolidation day. And you know, I wouldn't be surprised if, and I'm not going to be here for power hour, but I wouldn't be surprised for power hour if we do pump back up for power hour after kind of flirting with this 602, 3, 4 level for a while. Remember, we haven't broken past low 600s, or we haven't broken below 600, I should say, since this morning at, what time was this? It's about 1 p.m. So about 10 a.m. So about 2 hours now. So it looks like over 600 has good support up. So if we see a break of 600, maybe I'd get worried and stop out of those. But this potentially looks like a base is building above 600, which is not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. Alex says, great point, Yash, for the public. This is my 1K to make 250K challenge for the Discord. Nice. Very cool. Like it. Yes, join our Discord. If you don't know what that is, that's where we IPO leaps, not investment advice. Yeah, absolutely. Join our Discord. Join us in our stock room. We talk there 24/7. A couple hundred of you guys on there on our private community membership. Check out the pinned comment, patreon.com/hit that bid. If you join, you should pop up on the alerts here, which I hope you do, because I have set it up so Elon pops up here on those. So we'll see. Michael, Yash, about 15K of 700 calls for June 18th. What's your take on it? 15K, okay. On June 18th, 700K. What's my take on it? Again, none of this is financial advice, folks. I'm a talking head idiot on YouTube, all right? June 18th, 700. So you're betting on, what I like is you're betting on the event on June 3rd. Here's what I'll say to you. Be careful about the event on June 3rd. We know how Tesla events go, okay? It's almost always a sell the news event. Almost always. So what I'll say is, if that position you have, consider taking a good portion out, if you're up, especially on those positions prior to the event. That's what I'll say there. So 700 strike calls are going for $4.40, $4.30 at the moment. These were trading at $5. Let's see, at a 30-minute level. You know, these were trading at $8, $9 on May 18th, so last week. Where I mean, what you're hoping for here is a turnaround. I'll say I like it, but you know, don't take that with much of a grain of salt, or take that with a grain of salt, I should say. I like it because I'm bullish. I'm bullish June and forward. I just think money's going to flow back into the stock market. Power hour, I got to head out soon, so I'm not going to be saying for power. But you know, I think money's going to head back into the stock market soon. I think there's a lot of money sitting on the sidelines. Crypto, we saw a lot of money liquidate out of crypto recently and come back in the stock market. So you know, we'll see. Chris says, right options don't buy. Talk about writing options all the time. Yes, but if you're looking for that YOLO percentage move, writing options is not going to get you that. But if you're looking for consistent profitable trades, you want to write. Absolutely. Need to start paying off margin, a few thousand shares. Can you walk through how do you sell call puts for cash flow? Quite easily. You would just, for covered calls, you can come in. The question you should have in your mind is, if I had to sell my shares, at what strike price would I be comfortable selling, right? And you'd be like, okay, well, I'd sell at 1,000. But if you go to 1,000, and this is June 11th, call option chain, great, you sell for 1,000, but so would everyone and their mom, and that's why you'd only get $10 to sell this, right? If you go closer, you're gonna have to find out a risk reward that works for you. A good risk reward metric might to be look at, and you know, I'll get to the caveat to this, is maybe something like a 1 standard deviation away, around 45 days away. So about a 45 days away to expiration, maybe something like Canada Day, July 2nd. And a 1 standard deviation move is about a 17% delta. So right around 720s. That gets you at $7.50. So 750 cents per 100 shares you agree to sell. You don't have to sell them. You can buy this back as soon as you're at a profit on it too. But the caveat to this is, and keep in mind of this, is implied volatility is so goddamn low. Implied volatility rank is so low on this. you're going to want to wait maybe to see when implied volatility comes back up, because that $7.50 that you'll get for selling July 2nd 720 strike calls, maybe if you wait for implied volatility pop up, you'll get $10 on those, right? And so now all of a sudden it's a lot easier for you to make a profit on those. Bitcoin is still flirting around that 38,000, 39,000. We're gonna, we got to see a 40,000 break here soon, or not ideal. Looks like we're retesting 600 here, folks. It's gonna be flirting with that 600, I think, for a while now. Griffin's, the stock is gonna plummet once the stream ends. I gotta head out though. That's why I couldn't do Power Hour live stream today. It looks like we are actually in Power Hour at the moment. But remember, we're gonna be going live more often on the channel. If you wanna get more commentary, again, join Patreon. You should be able to get all that sort of stuff live, and the community is awesome in there. Everyone, I see a lot of you folks in here. Griffin's in there, studio, obviously, Alex, Tyler, our mod. So all that sort of stuff. So we'll see. So 600 break again. If 600 breaks and holds past here, that would not be ideal. We'll have to see if Dennis Flynn has pledged $5 on Patreon. Welcome. 600 break would have to go under there for us to keep an eye on that. Thanks for subscribing. Owing a lot of shares right every week, out of the money, collect premium. Collecting premium is a great strategy. The problem at the moment is not a lot of premium is there, but obviously on days like today, it's a good strategy. But just be careful doing it. Be careful selling premium. I will say this, just none of what I say is financial advice, but do not sell naked calls, okay, folks? Just don't do it. Either have shares, either sell call spreads. You can sell naked calls, don't get me wrong. You might be able to if you're a sophisticated investor, but the risk reward is not worth it. If you look at stuff like GME, look like stuff like AMC, this stuff skyrockets on a minute's notice. Be careful selling calls naked on this sort of stuff. Huge risk there. Be a little bit less greedy and sell spreads if you need to, or buy shares, something like that. Be careful. If you're selling puts, cash secure them. Be comfortable with buying those particular shares at those prices. And just keep safe, because the number one goal of what we're doing is obviously making money, but it's also to a degree capital preservation, right? If we don't have capital, we can't live to fight another day. So keep your capital safe, keep your capital tight. Don't expose yourself to undue risk that you don't need to. Okay, that's what I'll say. Paco, thank you. Actually, let's do it daily. Let's get you to 100K subs. Thanks, Paco. Yeah, I appreciate all you guys subbing in. Power hour sell-off time. I hope not. I hope I sign off and everything skyrockets here. We'll see. Alex says, thank you. My best $5 I've ever spent on my education. Awesome. Appreciate that, Alex. Nice surprise to find you on. Thank you. Yeah, I went early today. Some days I'm going to go on at Power Hour. I have to head out now. But hit the bell to be alerted of when I schedule these in. Better yet, join us on Patreon. Join us on Discord, where we talk all stocks, all crypto, all day long. And in there, I always alert as soon as I've made plans. It looks like we're dipping below 600. So keep an eye on 600. Over 600, we need to stay over 600 is the bottom line here. So we'll see. Just give it a couple seconds here. I'm leaving too early. Yes, I got to go, though. Thanks, HLim, for the super chat. Tesla 1500. Come on. Let's go. 2021. Let's do it. Good juju vibes. I love it. I think is the audio going to come on? Protect your deltas. Yasu needs to post his portfolio. My portfolio is boring, folks. It's nothing there. I'm happy to talk about it. Subscribe. I'll get that Lambo soon. Awesome, Josh. Love it. Retest a 595. Please bounce. We'll see. We'll find out here what happens after I sign off. But my guess is we probably soar back up over 600 here in the coming up minutes. It just looks like this was macro related. Something probably happened. So there's no new flows. No, I don't see any new flows. So with that note, I'll be signing off here, folks. Much love to all you guys for tuning in on the impromptu Hit That Bid live stream. I'll catch you in the next one. Keep on fighting on. Let's make some more money. Join us on Discord. Link is up there, patreon.com/Discord. If you're listening to this and you don't have Webull and you like the platform that I'm looking at, I'll post it in here. Join Webull and deposit $100, even if you don't keep the account. If you deposit $100, you get up to 2 free stocks. And if you don't have a BlockFi account, you hold crypto, you want interest on it, it's not the highest interest rate account you can possibly get, but you get up to $250 worth of Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin appreciates from here, that'll be worth a lot more than 250 bucks. And both of the links I have posted right over here, so take a look at them and let me know. Good stuff, everyone. Much love to all you guys for tuning in at a minute's pretty much notice. Thanks for everyone that's been subscribing, and we'll keep on keeping on. I'll post another video today. Hold me to it. Any ideas of what to post, hit me up on Discord and let me know. I'm not doing Power Hour today. I'm signing off now. Got appointments to hit up. Got stuff to do. All right, guys. Much love to everyone. Catch you in the next one. Peace.